we are going to be talking about a trade that just happened, one release that I think was a little dumb, and we're going to talk about pick'ems. Let's get into it. What is up and how's it going? It's your boy Anthony from the Ramblin Bout H-Town channel, and oh boy, we have a blockbuster trade. Micah Parsons being traded to the Green Bay Packers, reaching a from Adam Schefter. Cowboys are trading three-time All-Pro linebacker Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, which he made a typo saying Micah Packers. Parsons and the Packers already have reached an agreement on a 4-year, $188 million contract per David Mulgeta of Athletes First. And yeah, that's the first trade. Of Michael Gallup being released from the Washington Commanders. Personally, I think that's kind of dumb. You know, I've heard that name a couple of times. I'm only 13, so, but I've heard he was pretty good on the Cowboys, and he was starting to wash up at the end of his last season with the Cowboys, which was over a year ago, because he went into retirement and then came out of retirement just to play for the Commanders. Sounded like a little bit of betrayal to me, but I don't really know. And finally, we have Week 1 kickoff predictions / pick'ems. So let me pull up my pick'em league. Well, not league. I'm not in a league. Alright, so here's what I have for my pick'ems. I have the Eagles beating the Cowboys. Obviously, that should be a blowout. And down in Sao Paulo, Brazil, we have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. I have the Kansas City Chiefs cheating their way through that. No, I think it's going to be a fair win, mostly. If this sounds a little cut up, it's because I'm editing some stuff out, because I'm kind of sick. Next off, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the Atlanta Falcons. I have the Buccaneers winning that one. Next we have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. I think this is obvious. The Bengals get their first win in the first game since, it's been a couple years, I think, because they always start off the season slow and then they actually start winning. Next, we have the Miami Dolphins at the Colts. I have the Dolphins winning that one. And so do 79% of other people. Next, we have the Raiders at the Patriots. And this might be a little controversial, but I have the Raiders winning against the Patriots. You know, Ashton Genty going up against that Patriots defense. I haven't personally seen the Patriots defense, so I don't know how good it is. So I'll need to review some film and stuff. But it's mostly backups in the preseason anyways, so that's all I have to go off of. Next, we have the Cardinals and the Saints. I have the Cardinals obviously winning. The Saints roster is, nothing good. You know, you have Chris Olave. I think he's the only decent guy on that roster. And also Spencer Rattler being named the starting quarterback. I think that might be a little step in the right direction, but, you know, you never know. Next, we have the Steelers and the Jets, the Aaron Rodgers first reunion game. Next, he will play the Packers I don't know what week, but I know he plays the Packers at some point. But I do have the Steelers beating the Jets. You know, this Jets roster, it's Mid, you got Justin Fields at quarterback that might go well. But then what else do you have? Garrett Wilson, he's good. Sauce Gardner, he's good. I don't know who else they have. I can't name them off the top of my head. But anyways, next we have the Giants and the Washington Redskins. Yes, I said it. I said it. I don't care. I do have the Redskins beating the Giants. Jaden Daniels coming off an awesome rookie year. I said this about CJ Stroud last year before I started this podcast, and he had a sophomore slump and that bad offensive line, and those two do not go together well. But Jaden Daniels, he shouldn't have a sophomore slump, and he has a mostly decent offensive line from what I've seen. Next we have the Battle of the Cats. The Panthers and the Jaguars. I have the Jaguars beating the Panthers. And if the Panthers win, I will be surprised. I'm a Bryce Young believer. I think if he was anywhere else but the Panthers, Titans, or the Saints, I think he would do good. I think it's just the Panthers that are the problem. But I do have the Jaguars beating the Panthers until the Panthers actually prove that they are a good team. I will not believe in the Panthers, but I do believe in Bryce Young. I believe that he can, evolve into this like great quarterback. Like he's not gonna be like Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, that level, or like Joe Montana, Brett Favre before he fell off the face of the earth. No, he didn't fall off the face of the earth. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I think he's going to be able to... He's not going to be on that Tom Brady level. But I do think he will be able to do good. Not great, but good. Next, we have the Broncos and the Titans. I do have the Broncos winning this game. Okay, yeah, they just agreed on the Parsons contract for the Packers, 4-year, $188 million contract. That is now confirmed. I am just now getting that notification from ESPN. That is where I get all of my news. If you like getting sports news almost instantly, go download ESPN. Not sponsored. Download ESPN. I'm telling you. Next, we have the 49ers and the Seahawks. I have the 49ers. Brock Purdy I didn't look at his stats, but I don't think he was doing good last season. Also Christian McCaffrey was out for basically the entire season, only played about 4 games. And I think that's what was weighing them down. And, Brandon Ayuk, no more Debo. But I still have the 49ers beating the Seahawks. But the Seahawks, they have Cooper Kupp, but they lost DK Metcalf and some other key pieces. And Sam Darnold is their quarterback. I don't think they're winning. Next, we have the Lions and the Packers. This is obvious. The Lions are winning. No comment needed. As a Texans fan, this game means a lot for depending on my mood. We have the Texans and the Rams. Me personally, I have not seen enough of this Texans starting offense or defense. Because, barely played them in the preseason. I don't know what they look like. And we can't just use training camp as an excuse. Because that's against their own players and sometimes just on their own. So, I do have the Rams winning in this season opener for the Texans/Rams. I don't I don't think I need to explain why. Next week, alright, this is the last Sunday game. This is the Sunday night game. This is the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. The rematch of the AFC Championship. No, not the AFC champion. No, all right, I can edit that out. The Bills divisional round matchup, and I do have the Ravens beating the Bills. You know, Mark Andrews hopefully, I can't speak. Hopefully, won't drop the ball, literally. But I do like this game is anybody's game, really. Like, you have two great Super Bowl contenders and two great MVP contenders. You know, Josh Allen being the reigning MVP. People are saying that should have gone to Lamar. I don't care who it goes to. Next, and finally, last but not least, an NFC North matchup on Monday night. The Monday Night Football game. We have the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. Vikings win, blowout. That's all I have to say. You know, I don't believe in Caleb Williams a lot because I just haven't seen enough. You know, he was the most sacked quarterback last season, if I remember correctly. And, you know, no, just no. No. All right. That will end this episode of Ramblin' About H-Town. Hope you had a fun time watching. It's Anthony Hardwick. Peace.